High-risk investment. Trading on margin carries a high level of risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Before deciding to trade, you should carefully consider your investment objectives, level of experience, and risk appetite. The possibility exists that you could sustain a loss of some or all of your initial investment, and therefore you should not invest money that you cannot afford to lose. You should be aware of all the risks associated with trading and seek advice from an independent financial advisor if you have any doubts. Market opinions. Any opinions, news, research, analyses, prices, or other information contained on this video is provided as general market commentary and does not constitute investment advice. Master the Markets will not accept liability for any loss or damage, including without limitation to any loss of profit, which may arise directly or indirectly from use of or reliance on such information.
Hello traders, and welcome to our live trading workshop webinar today. So what are we going to be covering for all the newcomers who have come in for today? So first, what we usually cover is traders. We will look at some live trading potential trades. At the moment, what I'm taking a look at is a GBP USD trade that I'm taking a look at. I'm looking at it mainly on a short side, I will see. But then on the other side, I must do mention that for longer term trade, we're actually looking at it on the long side. We're currently in a position on that as well. And do remember that today is FOMC minutes, so that's quite a bit of things to think about as well if you do not get standard big moves going forward in your direction. So that's what we'll do. We'll look at some live trading potential trades in alignment with our strategy objective, which is based on the stretch principle. There are many 1,001 ways you can create a strategy. We've covered that in the previous sessions. You can take a look at that. I'll give you all some reference links later. The second thing also we'll be taking a look at is the topic for today. The topic for today is how to use pivot points. Okay, how to use pivot points, support and resistance strategy. Okay, so we'll take a look at that. Quite a popular indicator that most people look into and institutional traders look into as well, pivot points. Now, the final thing that we will look at is the Q&A. If there's any questions, we will then answer them, as well as, upcoming events that are coming up, especially our Illustrates Mastermind Annual Summit is happening next week. Very excited, all of us over here and all the traders coming in. So definitely we'll keep you, give you more info on that and more in this live trading session. Traders, those of you joining us new for the first time, Mr. Napan here, founder of Master the Markets, Illustrates Conference, and the Traders Open Day. So here we are. So let me dive deep into this, into the cable chart over here. So currently on this time frame, I'm in a downtrend phase 2. So, and I've also got this stats table over here, which is quite unique with us here at Master the Markets, because we are the only company which shows probability stats on a point of entry. Okay, because based on swing moves, whenever you enter a swing, remember a swing is defined between 2 points, right? In this example, I'm using a bottom to top move. It's the same over here as well. It's a bottom and then looking for a top to form. So between the bottom and the top is what a swing happens. That's the definition. Or you can get a top to bottom swing as well. So that's how the quants compress the entire market movement into 2 types of swings. Okay, bottom to top and top to bottom. Now after that, what do you see? Whenever you enter a swing, you want to enter as near as possible to the bottom so that you get a large move left. But the usual problem is wherever you enter, because you don't have a quantified structure of your bottoms and tops, so whenever you enter, you are quite unsure how much move is left. Is it not, traders, right? And that's what this open equity table really tells you. Whenever we get a confirmation bar, which is signified by a blue dot for a bottom or a orange dot for a top. Okay, but this doesn't mean this is a buy and sell indicator, as me and Gavin have always mentioned, along with the VSA light indicators that we have. So the main thing is that, remember over here, from here, then we use our strategy rules to select which of these bottoms or tops or these confirmation bars do I want to trade, along with volume confirmation. Okay, so that's the whole premise. So I'll go through this a little bit more in detail. Now let me just collect all of this data together first, and then we'll also look into our topic for today, which is the pivot point. Okay, this one, let me see if I can put a dot, and I'll see if I can push this out in our Telegram channel as well. So let me see over here. I'll put that in there. I think it only gives you one type of dots. It can give you. Yeah, perhaps like that is much better, because then it'll be in alignment with the rest. Good. So let me do this together with you guys. Let me just do it all on TradingView. I know some of you prefer that. When I want to execute, maybe I can go into the MetaTrader platform. So here, what I can see is I'm seeing a downtrend phase 2 on cable. Okay, so let me do that. So on the daily time frame, as I mentioned before, because I've got the tops and bottoms quantified, right? So what I'm getting over here is that when I look at the tops and bottoms here, okay, then what's happening is when I convert that into a line diagram in a systematic structured way on the daily time frame, I can find out that that is a downtrend and that is a phase 2, okay, because taken out that level, lower lows and lower highs, and then finally confirm this bottom and a downtrend phase 2, okay. So I'll record that down. This is the good thing when you're looking at a quantified market structure, okay. That's the institutional term. Now after that, the on the 4-hour, I can see over here by my trend box, which was coded by one of our clients also, just like you guys who have been watching this through the YouTube live stream. Then he came on and got inspired, and then he say, I'll code this entire thing and the SMI onto the TradingView. So that's how our community itself uplifts the community, okay? So here you can see that on the 4-hour, that's the downtrend phase 1 at the moment, as you can see. On the 1-hour time frame, as you can see now, let me just look into that as well. On the 1-hour time frame, we got a downtrend phase 2, okay? So across most of them, it's saying all downtrend. And let me go one more time frame down on the 15-minute. Let's see. It's looking to some consolidation here, but let's see if it looks to take out that potential high. So I got an uptrend phase 1 at the moment, right? So this is the only thing that's not correlating at the moment. Okay, so we'll come to this in a minute and see how we tackle this. Okay, so here high 134.27. This is 134.24. Okay, but it's a higher low than that. That's why the trend box is saying uptrend phase 1. Okay, so I'm recording all this into this table here, and then I'm going to put it onto here, and then we'll go through the stats table as well. All right. In terms of the stretch, let me put the stretch on here. In terms of the stretch over here, what you can see, traders, again, this was quoted by another client of ours also. We've got a good community that's building up, especially on the programming side of things as well, is that you can see we got the stretch line here, we got the open link line, we got the upper stretch, and we got the lower stretch at the moment, okay? So this has all taken up the lower stretch over here, as you can see, and not the upper stretch yet, okay? So in terms of that, what I'll put over here is, I'll say lower stretch. In terms of range lines, I'll bring this back to 1-hour time frame, okay? And we will analyze this. In terms of the 1-hour time frame, we can see that the last range line, let's see. So this was 11, this is 1 at the moment, isn't it? 1 to 2, right? That's on Trade Nation. So this is 1 hour behind. So when I'm taking a look at 10, I think 11. So I need 10. So that's your range over there between 12, 8 to 12, isn't it? So I've got a range high over there, and my 8 a.m. I'm just going to mark it by a white line here, traders. That's what I'm going to be doing. Oops, let me do that. Right, so let me do this and style. I'll just put a line here, okay? So that's your range here that I'm seeing. And between the 8 a.m. one, I just want to see the range lines here. So I need 7 to 8. So it's pretty much similar, isn't it? So these are the range lines I'm seeing between midnight and all the way to now, okay, to 12 o'clock or 8 a.m. 8 a.m. even, I think by 8 a.m. it did its 6 and 7, yeah. 8 a.m. it did its range and it's hovering inside that range, okay? So the critical levels what we'll be looking at is this level here, 134.34 or 133.84 is what we'll be seeing, okay, traders? So that's what we'll be taking a look at. So in terms of that, it's not broken either of the range lines. So I'm going to be putting that there. Now, Bro to ST ratio, pretty much clear at the moment. I can see this is, in terms of an ATR perspective, that's 82, okay? I can read it off here. And in terms of, how much has it done to the low side? 50. So yeah, if that remains, it will still be the stretch. So I would say the Bro to ST is to the downside as of now. Previous daily high and low is taken out the downside as well, as we can see here on the daily time frame. And overall bias, has it done its ATR range? No. So overall bias, what's our bias? So here you see, what I can see is this is what I've collected all together. Yeah. So we got the downtrend phase 2 on the daily. Then we got the 4-hour downtrend phase 1. So across all 3 time frames, all downtrend, and except for the 15-minute. Now, across the bar mechanics, you can see the stretch, the Bro to ST, and the previous daily high and low all to the downside. So basically, traders, I got 6 out of 8 parameters pointing to the downside, except for the 15-minute. Okay, so my bias will be more to the short side. And I've looked at the other instruments, just that cable just came out to be the only one that hasn't made up its range yet. Now, so I'll keep it the bias on the short side. Now, once we have formed our direction bias, the next is timing, right? When do I get in? Now, one critical level that I saw that we can get in is, because you see, what you do not want to get caught out is in a downtrend phase 2 move, and where you're seeing some buying pressure, and you're especially seeing some good volume in here as well that are supporting that lows over there, and for it to carry on move further to the upside and stop you out, okay? Especially this level here, when it does that, then the 1-hour time frame trend will change as well, okay? So to stop us from getting caught out in that, if I want to keep my bias, what I will see is on the 15-minute time frame, right? And let me put the pivots, isn't it? We can take a look at the pivots as well later. What I can see over here is that in terms of entry perspective, okay, if I want to remain short on this, rather than jumping into it without a proper rationale or analysis, this is what we'll be looking at, traders, okay? So here, I'll be taking a look at, for this low to be taken out, so that then the trend can change. There'll be a trend change, okay? Like this, okay? There's a trend change over there. So that's the first thing that I'll be taking a look at, okay? Now, the other thing we'll be taking a look at over here is in terms of the stop, we can put it on the high of that. and our target to take out the low, okay, that is done so far. Just that you're going to be wary that there's an FOMC later at 7 p.m. So you might hover around and make a consolidation range, okay? If that's all in your rules, then you got to tailor your risk management accordingly. Right, so that's what we got as of now then, traders. Now, if you want to do a 1 ATR number here, which is about 8, isn't it? Is it more than that? Yeah, it is. Now, one other place that we can look at once this confirms, we can look at maybe a tighter stop. So we'll keep an eye on this. I'll take a look on the 1 hour. If there is a place where we can, I think the stop is pretty much correct, is what we are looking at the moment, okay? And on the 15, we take a look at that once more. Yeah, that should be fine. So I'll push this trade out on the Telegram channel. And as I'm doing that, and I'll also talk about this table over here, which I've got on the 15 minutes. Now, let me see if I can just do phase ones only. And let's see how that changes. Now, as it's doing that, I am going to be looking at this order and going to be sending that to you guys. So here, 1 ATR, it's telling me that it's 10, isn't it? Yeah, that's towards the low. We'll see if that confirms. How much has this done here? 16. Yeah, it's about 35 because we are correlating most of it, isn't it? So we go for the 40%. Okay, good. So let me do this. For those of you guys on our Telegram channel, I will do that. And let me push out this level to you guys. Yeah, I think we had done the previous one. Yeah, that's good. That's brilliant. So I will send this out to you guys. 1.3399 and 134.29 in our stop, that is. Okay. And in terms of target, I'm taking a look at, as I said, for the low to be taken out. So 133.83. Okay, so that's what we're looking at. I'll submit this through. Yeah, so that should have come out on your Telegram channel. We'll keep an eye on this particular trade, okay? So 133.83 is what we are seeing, okay? And what I'm doing over here, traders, if I were to explain this table to you, what I'm saying is that over here, if you see what this table is doing is that you can see all these OE numbers, right, on the top, yeah? OE1, this is 35, 30. Imagine each one is like a runner running a race, okay? So this guy here did quite a bit, isn't it? 35 pips he has done over here, right? Whereas this guy only has done about 1 pip. So he's a very slow runner. This one covered a much better distance, 6 pips. This is all on the 15-minute time frame. You can put this onto any instrument on any time frame and any instrument. So let it be crypto, let it be stocks, let it be indexes, let it be commodities, name it. We can do on anything. Now, once what this is doing is it's recording each swing distance, okay? It's recording each swing distance over here and collecting it over the last 15 years, okay? Now that's the power once you have automated something, okay? In terms of gathering your data, you see, look, from 2010 all the way to now, okay? So that's what it's taking a look at. So After it collects all of these swings, okay, 45 pips, 23 pips, 7, 1, whatever, and then it's collecting it all onto here, traders, okay? So it's telling you 1,015 swings we have, whatever data that the broker gives you on the 15-minute time frame. It's collecting all of that. Out of that, it's telling you that 67% of them, 681 out of the 1,015, or 67% of them, goes to 5 pips, okay, from the time the dot happens, all right, on the 15-minute time frame. Now, some of you might say, oh, that's very little, isn't it, Tiru? Yeah, but this is just the data. Now, how we use it in a strategy that can differ, okay? So that's why over here, as I showed you, we use all the trend alignment, direction alignment, stretch principle, and all of that. So then if I did enter on the 15-minute, then one possible target, it's not a very fixed target, but I can use the 15 pips, which is about 35-40% probability of getting there. But because I'm putting all the other parameters in play, trend alignment, direction alignment, looking at stretch principle, then this, of course, increases my probability. Usually it comes to about 60% of them will get there. Okay, that's on the 15-minute. But doesn't mean that in terms of my strategy, I always need to enter on the 15-minute, depending on the rules of your strategy. Okay, I can enter on a 15-minute as is a ripple and then ride that swing larger onto the 1 hour and the 4 hour. So this is how we can keep our trade risk small and a larger swing distance to ride. Okay, so that's the whole premise of this entire swing methodology and market structure, and how we can use this table overall, okay? Because markets move in cycles, isn't it, traders, right? So that's the whole premise of this, okay? Measuring the swing distance, putting it into here, and then finding out the target. This tells you that every time you get a confirmation bar, gives you a guideline that if you take it to 15 pips, you see on the 1 hour, is 60% probability, okay? If I take it to, let's say, 39, about 30 pips, I can ride it through. So far, as you can see, how much has it traveled from the close on the phase 2? This is 11 pips so far it has done. So this gives you a guideline. Not only you can put targets based on this, but also you can also write them also and then trail your stop loss accordingly once it reaches certain targets. Okay. Now, the other thing that we do also here, when we partner up with Trade Guider, Gavin Holmes and his team, we also use combination of the volume. So before I take something short or something long, I take a look at the volume support. Okay, so let's see over here on the 15-minute, as our bias is towards the short side as it comes towards taking out over here, I can see there is a volume a little bit above the second relative moving average, where it's coming down a little bit right now. If the next few bars consecutively close lower, and more critically, it takes out this level where a change of behavior will start to happen, a trend change will start, and then we can look to ride it a bit more further. Okay, so these are the uh, rationale behind what we have done over here. In taking a look at this strategy, remember every strategy objective is very different. So it really depends on how you construct your strategy for that robustness of that strategy, okay? So that's what you need to be looking at as well. Because we have looked at a lot of strategy construction and also, lectured students in the STA on automated trading systems. So we have a lot of experience in constructing different types of strategies to tailor each trader's personality also, okay? And for the market movements and seasonalities. Right, I think with all that said, I know some of you are pressing me for some reference links, right? Where can you find out more about all of this, okay? The OE data here. I can even put this OE data in terms of ATR as well, right? So if I put in ATR, and I did a very good analysis on gold the last time, and a lot of you really liked that. There were some nice comments on YouTube also. So you can take a look at that where we went through a little bit of this. You can see when I change it to ATR, I can change this to ATR, or I can change this to percentage basis also, okay? You'll see that it will do it right now. It will take some time to crunch all the data. The other data you can see over here, right? So for 1 ATR, 0.75 to 1 ATR is about 60% probability, you see. This is how trading should be, isn't it, traders, right? Based on probabilities. That's what we should be looking at. Now, the other thing is, if you do want to look at the other stats, these are very powerful. You can look at MAE. This will tell you where to place your stop loss, right? Very, very powerful. Also look at time too as well, okay? These are all very, very important stats that you can take a look at. Now, those of you are pressing me for the different links to look at before we go on to the topic for today on pivot points is this one. I would say start off with 7 steps to CTP first. This will explain the entire market structure and the framework what we have done, traders, okay? It's very, very critical. So on here, when we're looking at 7 steps to CTP.com is the link. You will get a link over there on YouTube. You guys can go there and register for it. You can then register and get the free videos sent to your inbox once you put your contact details, your name, email, and number. Optional for live trading updates, and then click on the green button and then click on Now Robot, and then you will get that, send that to your inbox. And it will look like this, okay? So you get all your 7 videos being sent to you, and it will go in very systematically in a structured way, which is why all our clients love us and stick with us for over 10 years and beyond, right? So the first thing is we will talk about the main challenge that most traders face. We'll talk about then why you start off with quantifying tops and bottoms, and then we look at the 3 stats over here, which I briefly went through, really, really eye-opening. And then after that, 6 and 7, we'll talk about strategy construction and the 3 components of a trading system. Now, we've put this together over 15 years of collated research, okay? So highly invaluable material. Another thing is that, very important to note, is that it's not a rigid structure. You can combine this with anything. You can combine this with volume, order blocks, pivot points, stochastic indicators, structure. It's market structure. It gives you clarity, that's all. So that when you put this on top of this framework, all you got to ask yourself is, you know what, this bottom to top move, is this a good runner or not? Are all my indicators signaling to me that or not? Okay, that's the premise of this. Okay, this is the importance of this framework, because it makes it very refined and very clear. Most of our clients who have worked with us always say, you know what, Theo, from the time I began to the time what I am today, in about a matter of 6 months, my whole thinking has been refined. I'm so clear on the trading, and just the conviction and confidence has so much improved. Okay, so that's the thing on the 7 steps to CTP over there. So you can go ahead and get that, and the videos will be sent to you. Those of you who have seen it, I highly recommend to revisit it as well. Those of you who have seen it and everything, and now on the stage of getting the indicator, I know some of you got that last week. You can go on to SMI and VSA page as well. You can get that. Now, those of you who got the VSA already, you got a small discount. You can always send us an email if you want to get a discount code, or you can put it on the YouTube. You can use .com/master the markets. I know some of you had mentioned that you've subscribed to it, but you don't get the live notification. And the reason, after you hit the subscribe button, you have to hit the drop arrow over here. And once you click on the drop down arrow, click on the all bell icon, traders. That will send you the notifications whenever we go live. Okay, even if you're not free when we go live, then you can just save it to your watch list or your playlist to watch it later. Okay. Now, in terms of the stretch principles and all that, what you can do is you can go under this must watch section. There's some really great other content over there that you can look at. But in terms of the stretch principle, if you click on the view all over here, then you see on the view all button over here, then what you will get is you will start to see this over here, and you can go and take a look at the stretch principle playlist videos. Okay, I know you're getting 7 steps and then you're getting stretch principle, but I would say that, you know, first start with 7 steps first, then go to stretch principle, and then after that, then I would say then look at how we gel all this together under our live section over here. Okay, I know you'll still get some questions. If you do, then you can always email us and we can see if we can clarify your doubts. Okay, so that's all over there as well under the must watch section. Also, another thing what we're doing, traders, is that so that you don't need to go and click here and click there because it's all in different places. Especially YouTube, sometimes if you don't have the premium subscription, then you get the ads, isn't it? It's quite a lot of ads. So we're creating a free resources page, okay? So it will be available very soon. Once it's available, then you can get all our free resources all in one place. Those people who have just seen our free resources video links and the video courses are just blown away, because even this free material that we give away, high quality stuff, high quality content, just outbeats even any other paid programs out there, even with other companies and all that. Then after that, once you got this refined framework, then you can then come and see if you want to progress further with us as well. Okay, good. So you've got all of that over here. Now, the other thing is the summit, right? The summit is coming up, traders, right? It's an annual summit, happens once a year. And we just moved the dates to next week, which is 17 and 18 October. This time is happening in Liverpool Street at Trade Nation offices. Okay, so they're very kindly sponsoring all of us. It's going to be in the heart of London, in the central, in Liverpool Street next to Bank. And over there, what we're going to be covering is, we're going to be on the first day, we're going to be doing some live trading. And then after that, we're going to be looking at in-depth price and volume analysis. Okay. And then also seeing how we formulate the strategy, give you all the ideas on how we constructed that strategy that you're seeing every time on Wednesday and Thursdays, and also how we can apply that to any other intraday strategy or end of day strategy as well. We'll be also going through some research updates, which I've covered some from last time, which you can also use along with your other strategies also. Some of our clients who have helped us with a lot of the research as well will be presenting over there, especially the Vedanta Elite members. Okay, so a lot in store over there in the summit. You can either join us in person or online. In person, there's only one ticket left. Now online, there's quite a few, even though I say that, but then there's a maximum limit on the Zoom as well. So do get them before they all run out. Okay, so you can get both of that over here. If you want all the prices for it, it's all at the bottom. You can check that at your own time. You can read through it as well, what you do get over here. And also another thing that you do get as well, on day one, as I was saying, you get lunch on both days. Okay, you get lunch on both days, and then dinner on the first evening. This time we're going to even make it even more better. Highly probably will be going to the Heron Tower, which is one of the highest buildings in London. Okay, so we're doing all of that in the summit. So if you do want to find out more, you can get in touch with us. All right, so this is really good. And also another thing is that it's amazing to meet other like-minded traders. Some of the traders that will be coming there will just blow your mind. In fact, they inspire us. In fact, how we have come this far for over 15 years now, since 2010, is because of our clients. So the inspiration and the passion that they have is what drives us to give out more further and better. Okay, so that's what really motivates us traders, right? So really some inspiring traders and enthusiastic traders that you meet over there. And it's a great way to also end of the year as well, right? Because we can all get re-energized, inspired, and go into the new year with absolute momentum and gusto. Okay, so that's what the annual summit is all about. So definitely take a look at that. Also, a quick shout out to Trade Nation as well, who is actually sponsoring our Telegram channel that we got easy to push out those signals that you guys are getting. Okay, right now, there's quite a lot to cover over there. Now, with that said, let me go on to the topic for today. Let's see if cable does come to fill us. I did mention that because of actually coming out later, this might be a bit slow, isn't it? But I'll wait and see how that comes along. Now, coming into here, so let me take a look in terms of our topic for today, right? So topic for today is on pivot points. How do you use them? The pivot points, which is a support and resistance level in a strategy. So let's go and take a look at this, right? Now, firstly, as we start off with everything, we always ask what? What are pivot points, right? Now, pivot points, you see, mainly I mean, you might have a scenario, right? Where, you know, after you enter, a trade then reverses against you, okay? Or after you exit, the trade carries on a bit more further, right? So how do you then use these pivot points in conjunction with any market structure, what we even got by the SMI, and use it more effectively so that your entries become more effective and your exits become more effective as well, okay? So how do we do all that? Now, so firstly, what are pivot points? So firstly, pivot points, right? If you take a look at it, the levels are actually calculated from the previous day's high, low, and close, okay? So if I go back to here, so what it does is, the pivot points that you see over there, they come from having a formula. We covered this actually much more in detail in Trader's Toolbox. You see, from yesterday's bar, we take a look at high, low, and close. Okay, so that's how we get the numbers. Now, once we got those numbers there, right, and then we apply it onto this 15-minute time frame over here. Okay, and those are the levels that you're seeing over here. So if I, let's see, yeah, you can see this dots over here. Those are all the pivot points, okay? The R1, R2, R3, or S1, S2, S3, okay, is what we are looking at, okay, in terms of your pivot point levels. Now, over here, what I've also done, let me do this on the 1 hour. Maybe it's a bit more easier to see. Okay, so on the 1 hour here, you can see that. There we go. That's all the pivot points, right? Much more easier to see, okay? It's your S1, your S2. This is your R1, yeah, on the above side, okay? So over here, what we can see then, traders, is that on the dotted ones, yeah, those are your pivot points, what I'm showing you. So I know it's quite a few lines, but just focus on the dotted ones over there. Now, on top of that, I've also drawn this for you also, which is, let me show you this one. Maybe it's a bit more easier to see if I hide the stretch indicator for a minute. Okay. Maybe I had it. So can you see these blue dots over here? So that is your open price, what I've put over there. Okay. So that's your open price. Now, the white lines are for range lines, so don't focus on that at the moment. So the pivot points are basically from the open price is always good to indicate that. And then the other one also is to see the red lines underneath that also. There's also one red line here that you can see where I've put my target line also. So you see, can you see that pivot point? That actually is a textbook example where it hits that red line over there, okay, and then it bounces off. In fact, it correlates with our stretch line also, isn't it? It's gone through that stretch line, but it hits a pivot and then it starts to turn around, okay? So that's what we are seeing over there. Right, so let's take a look at this then. So in terms of that, so that's your pivot points here, calculated from open, from the high, low, and close. So those are your pivot points, and then it's drawn out by the formulas. Okay, you can go and take a look at the formulas much more later on. I also talked about the types of pivot levels also, as I said. The first one below the open is called your R, this is support, isn't it, right? Below the open is support, and then S2 and then S3. The S3 will be the second dotted lines over here, and they're all equidistant if you see, okay? S2 would be around here, and then the one below that will be S3. Usually most ones will only draw up to S3 only, okay? And then on the top, that will be your R1, and then your R2, and then your R3, which is what you can see over here. So those are your pivot levels, which are marked out by the indicator. You can just find that on TradingView and just mark it all out, and you do it automatically for you. Now, then how do you take a trade on this? So what you can do is, traders, what I would suggest is always confluence of factors, okay? How do you use it, right? Now, firstly, even before how, you may ask, why even use it? Because it got very popular in terms of pivot points, is that a lot of traders do look at this, okay? Retail traders, professional traders, institutional traders. When a lot of traders are looking at this, then those levels start to react to them because they're all using it. And when they start to, especially smart money, when it starts to turn the market, it will be supported by those pivot levels, okay? But then, how do you actually really use it? Because not all the time, it's not a magic number, is it? Not all the time that when it hits it, then it's got to bounce up and then come down, right? If it's like that, then everybody would be making millions of dollars out of it. So then how do you actually use these pivot points, okay? What the best way is always confluence of factors, okay? Confluence of factors towards what? Towards your strategy objective is what you should be looking at, okay? That's the main thing. Now, what are the confluence of factors? What we'll be looking at? The first confluence of factors is that we will look at other levels which are also coinciding over there as well, okay? Any other support levels. So here today, if I took a look at the trend alignment, direction alignment, and stretch and all that, bias is towards the short side, right? But then I put my stretch as well, that is saying also, yeah, towards the short side also. But of course, when it first did this, right, I can then, because the trends were all down, this was much more earlier in the day, this was at midnight. Those of you guys in the Asia session, you could have traded that. In terms from a swing perspective, I can trade that all the way down at least to the first pivot level, or I can use my OE tables here to exit as well. So either target. You see now how I'm confluencing everything together, okay? So that's one premise that you can use using the stretch and the pivot levels and using trend alignment, direction alignment towards your target objective, okay? A target objective can either be through a swing distance or to a pivot level or to just basically a trailing stop loss and you let it run, okay? So those could be different ways. Now, over here when it bounced off, okay, yes, in hindsight it may look good, but if it doesn't pertain to your strategy rules, you don't need to take that trade, okay? Unless you got some strategy rules saying that, you know what, when it's a pivot like this, it's a red bar, and then after that, OE is diminished in the swing distance because it's extended quite a bit from it, and volume is supporting that as well, then perhaps I can start to look at it to take long, okay? But you combine different time frames to look into that. So that's another thing you can look into as well, combination of different time frames as well, okay? So those are the things that you can look at on how to use them, all right? Now, stop losses, you can again use both the pivot points as well as the range lines or stretch lines or all of this, or swing high and swing low levels, okay? Before, we used to use quite a bit of these pivot lines until we came across all this market structure and the swing high, swing low levels. And ever since we started to look at the market in that way, we never really started to combine the pivot lines. But it's always good to keep an eye, I would say. If you are a pivot trader, combine the SMI along with it, the swing high, swing lows, get the market structure, get the stats behind you to trade with more confidence and conviction. That's what some of our traders do. So they pile it all on top because all the SMI does is gives you a market structure, right? So that when I take a look at the trend alignments over here, it becomes a bit more clear, becomes a bit more systematic. It's not subjective, is it? It's not longer guesswork, right? So that's the whole premise out of these traders, okay? Right. So as I said from before, this framework can be applied with any indicator, so it's not rigid, all right? Because eventually you're looking to ask yourself the question, do I want to trade this swing move or not? That's the whole premise. And that's why over here we mainly use price and volume. So in essence right now, over here, what is also creating my bias is it went through the S1 level of the pivot, okay? So it's maybe highly probably signaling towards the downside. But before I short this retracement, as I said, I need a technical level break, and I also need volume also supporting it. So wait and see if all that happens. And I need the confirmations on the lower time frames also. Okay, this is how I'm using in combination. And let's see if that top gets confirmed over here, that it's rejected that open over there. First level to break would be the low point over here. Then if we do get more carry through to the downside, then it will break its pivot level over here as well, which is your S1 level that it took out before. That's where our first target is. That will come out in the Telegram channel, which I've given. So now you can see how it all comes together, traders, but in a very systematic, logical way that we are doing this, okay? And along with stats backing us up as well, with the OE tables and the open profit tables. Okay, good. Now, just a quick recap. What did we cover so far on the pivot points? We covered on what are pivot points, yeah, and how they are calculated from the high, low, and close from the previous day. Why use them? Because a lot of traders, including institutional traders and professional traders, are using them. And whenever those guys are using it, it will start to affect the price, and we look at those levels. And how do we effectively use it? I showed you in terms of confluence of factors and using the smart money framework as well in combination with the pivot levels towards your strategy objective. That's critical. You must always align everything towards your strategy objective. Okay. All right, traders, I guess that's quite a good look through. I will keep an eye, our traders will keep an eye on this. Those of you also want to learn all of this in a very systematic way, do get in touch with us because we want to expand our intraday trading team as well. Okay, right. Good on that. Because most of us, we do end of day because of the time availability that we got. Just a final recap in terms of the resources and links that you guys can look at. First is 7stepsctp.com. Fill in your details, click on the green button, not a robot. You get the 7 videos sent to your inbox. Highly, highly recommended. Really puts everything into perspective. Your thinking and your conviction will start to increase. Okay, you get so refined. I've seen this thousands of times. You can look at all the reviews we are getting and everything, okay? On Google, Trustpilot, on our website, 150 testimonials, you can see all of that. Those of you who want to get now the indicator and say, you know what, yeah, it's coming towards the end of the year, enough of me waiting, being on the fence, you can get it over here on this page. And if you want more information on your different level of subscription tiers as well, you can get in touch with us, send us an email, and we can help you on with the subscription as well. youtube.com/master the markets. After you click subscribe, hit the all bell icon. One of the ones that you got to look at under the must watch section over here would be the view all, and go under this thing called the stretch principle videos. Okay, and also those of you want to revisit the learnings from this video, you can go under the live section over here. Okay, right, so over there you'll see all the previous live videos that we have done on YouTube, and you can go through them. Really amazing content over here because you can see this methodology. Not only we talk about it, but we trade it in real, right? And that's where the real learning happens. That's what me and Gavin, we always believe in, that in true real life trading is when you really learn. Okay, on the right side of the chart over here you can see all kinds of trades where we have taken trades on. Even Brent oil, we got put 3 targets. I know Paul was there last time we flew from Australia, and then me and Gavin were there all in person, and we took it all in live and hit all 3 targets on Brent. We took another one on gold where it goes near to a stop and it goes all the way straight to a target. And then there are some where it goes straight to the stop loss as well. And there's some that where we are large in profit and we hit our trailing stop loss for small profit. So you can see all of this here. There's no hiding, no covering the wins or the losses because of the conviction that we have in the law of numbers. But I must also make a point here that we're not about giving you the fish, but we're also teaching you how to fish over here. Okay, so that's why we go on the live stream 2 times, just with that concept on teaching you how to fish and use these principles on any strategy. So don't take it from the concept that, yeah, we're here to show you all the trades, then all the trades must win. No, we're not like that. Or even if we had a streak of losses, that doesn't matter because that's not the validation of the strategy. Validation of the strategy is when you know how you've constructed your strategy towards a particular objective and an edge, okay, and consistently executing it. That's how you get it. It's a big topic altogether. Actually, we cover that in Traders Basecamp package, all right? Now, in terms of the ETM Summit that's coming up, I've mentioned this already, 17 and 18 October. Find all the details over here. Live trading on the first day. We're going through research updates. and also great traders for you all to meet over here as well. Okay, both days will be lunch provided and dinner on the first evening. Quick shout out to Trade Nation as well for hosting us, for actually sponsoring us in terms of Telegram channel, as well as sponsoring our ETM summit over here. Traders, I believe in terms of the questions, most of the questions that are coming up is probably on the stats table. That's what I would say, on the OE, MAE, and also on the pivot points. Now, what I would say is that start off with 7steps to CTP.com and take it from there. If there's still some questions, you can always email us on them. Okay, right. I guess that's pretty much that for me on this session. And as we always say, till the next time, stay disciplined, follow your trading plan, and keep trading like a master. Take care and bye for now.